Okay, so it's July 17, 2026. And so let me explain this. This is about Charles Perry stalking me. I do not like the guy. He gives me the creepy crawlies and the heebie jeebies. And I've made that very clear. I moved my son and I 2 times, not down the street from him, but far, far away. So I do not want him where I am. Okay, I've made that very clear. I don't like Charles Perry. I don't like him. No one likes him. If people liked him, he could get the name of my boss, couldn't he? You know? So, I don't like him. I moved twice to get away from him. Dennis and I left Lubbock in November 2013 and moved to the Dallas area. Charles came there and did nothing but cause problems and loss. We moved again to Oklahoma to be with my family and to keep us both safe. He's a murderer. Charles Perry's a murderer. And if he's not, then he has to prove me wrong. They have to prove I lied, that I know I'm lying, and that my reasons for lying are malicious. He imagined a political vendetta. There is no evidence of a political vendetta because nothing like that happened. There was no such thing. Okay, let's explain this again. The guy is in an 86% Republican district, one of the smallest districts in his state. I've been in politics all my life. I'm seasoned. Before I met Mr. Perry, I had been in Lubbock for 3 years, actively involved in the Republican Party. I campaigned for a fuck ton of people in the capacity of campaign activities director for the Lubbock area Republican women. In Lubbock, if you are not pro-life, and if you are not pro-gun rights, and you're not pro-protection of marriage being between a man and a woman, and very conservative fiscally, you do not get elected to anything, not even dog catcher. You have to be, even though the dog catcher has nothing to do with abortion or marriage, or gun rights or anything, you have to be that or they won't vote for you in that district. Whoever would replace Mr. Perry would be exactly like him. They have to. So, but for the stalking and the unwanted male attention, you're not going to get different. You're not going to get it in that district. If you wanted to flip the district, which there's really no point because it's too small, you have to look at the overall politics. If someone decides we want to flip this district, we want to make Texas blue, for example, the Democrats, let's say they have a meeting and they decide they want to make Texas blue. Lubbock district isn't really one that they would target. If they wanted to target it effectively, being that it's 86% conservative Republican, they would have to bring a company in from California with a lot. Now, companies can move to Texas from every place, all places, any place. But if you wanted to flip it and make Lubbock a blue district and replace Charles Perry or someone exactly like him, you would have to go to California. And you'd have to solicit people in California to bring their company to Lubbock and move their employees too, so that you get a bigger liberal voting base. Otherwise, replacing him is going to be apples to apples, not apples to oranges. So, if I personally have a political beef with someone, they're going to hear about it. There'll be emails. Ask Dan Pope and Steve Massengale. Fuck ton of emails from me about things that I did not like about the school district. How can we change those things? Nothing about abortion, nothing about gun rights, nothing about marriage. Okay, nothing. It's about the schools. But they heard from me. Pretty much the way that I met them is first we have a problem at school. I go to the principal who did nothing. Then he was mean to me. I then go to the superintendent who was worse. So what I did is I just showed up at a board meeting. I'm on the record at that board meeting. The board meeting is a recorded thing. Then I had meetings with each and every board member to discuss my problems and my beef, and they got emails about it, and they heard from me. I'm very vocal about what I'm pissed off. You're going to know what I'm pissed off about and exactly how pissed off I am. I'm very vocal, just like now, about the stalking and human trafficking. Okay, he would have an email or a text somewhere. I'm mad at your vote for XYZ. There would be something somewhere because I'm vocal about what I'm mad about. He was never my representative. John Frullo was. There's 100 people I could have gone to other than Charles Perry. Charles Perry was brand new elected, didn't have any poll yet, didn't have any kind of voting history yet, didn't have anything about anything. I helped him get elected. Emails to that effect are here. He has them and I have them. They're also on the docket in the 3 lawsuits. Okay, so those are here. These are Facebook messages from 2011. I'm complaining about stalking. I may have to move. He's pulling up in my backyard, watching me in my backyard. He's showing up at restaurants. The only way he could know I was going to that restaurant is hacking my phone or cloning it. Because I didn't call him and say I go to Carino's every Wednesday. I didn't put anything on Facebook about going to Carino's every Wednesday. Me and Cheryl Underwood went to Carino's every Wednesday. There was one day that I had some errands to run and I forgot my phone. I left it at home. Okay, well, you'd think that if he hacked my phone, he'd think I'm at home. If he's using it as a GPS. He has voyeur cameras in my house, so he knew I left. But he didn't know where I went because I forgot my phone at home. He shows up Carino's looking for me. Cheryl said he walked back towards my table, shot me a dirty look, and walked out. He was not eating. I did not see him eating. Okay, that is stalking. Sitting in my backyard, in the alley behind my house, watching me in my backyard, that is also stalking. Then, when I get confrontational about it, he was also hitting on me in public and getting jealous in public. Oh, wow. Nope. We're not doing that. So I contacted Ben Campbell and Charles and spoke to both of them about it and said, cut it the fuck out. To which their reply was, you don't want us to run your business, do you? And they did. So I'm telling my friends about that, and I'm telling him I may have to move. He threatened to ruin my business. And I think there's one of these that I believed I was sending to Jordan Berry. Like, I didn't go to the media with this dumbass. I went straight to you with it. It's not like I went, I kept my mouth shut for 4 years, but for a few close friends. These two, most of those friends did not live in Texas. Mandy lived in Florida. Robert lived in Arizona. They're not Texas voters that I'm talking to about this. Okay, I had 2 kids. I did not want a scandal. I didn't want anybody to know there was a problem. So I'm telling friends because I know that stalking is dangerous and that can get you killed. So I'm telling people about it, but nobody in Texas. So there's no political vendetta here. There's no evidence of that at all. Mr. Perry needs to prove what he's saying or shut up. Shut the fuck up. Okay? Just like that. That's what you need to do. Princess, I think you are as weak pussy as they come and as dumb as a brick. Okay? Nothing to do with your politics. It's all about your unwanted contact to me. I don't like you. I don't ask you what you think about things in my life because I don't care what you think. I don't give 2 fucks what you think. No fucks are given about what you think. So you are not asked. And you continuously try to volunteer your opinion. And I'm here. Call me. I don't want you here. You're not invited here. You're not welcome here. Wherever here is that I am. You're not welcome in my life. I do not like you. There's nothing to like. And I've made that very clear. I also am sick of repeating myself for you. It's in a recording, so I don't have to. And yet here I am. I'm having to do it again. If you did this planned wedding thing that everybody keeps telling me about, that you have planned I'm going to have you pulled over. I'm going to have you arrested. We're going to sit you down. You're going to go do this fake wedding thing so I can cover up my forgeries. And and you're going to pretend you're being married to me. I would literally take my shoe off. If I had to do it to get away from you, I might pretend to go along with that, but the second I had the opportunity and I could find something sharp, I would stab you in the eye with it, maybe my heel. There's no fucking way I would go along with that, and we've already discussed this for years. Because we found out about this years ago. You're as nutbag as they get, and you stop. Just stop with your bullshit. It's embarrassing. It's repulsive to me. There is no way I would be in the same room with you. If you come near me, I will kill you dead. My guys have told me repeatedly, he's dangerous. Look where your son is. He's dangerous. Look where Lucky Miller is. He's dangerous. Look at how many times do we have to tell you to pour out your food? Because we saw them go in your house and put poison or something in it. Or hand it off to somebody to give to you. Or even put it on a grocery shelf. Or take it to a restaurant and tell them to put it in your food. Something that could put you in the hospital. They want you in the hospital. Because then you'll be too weak to fight back. They can steal your driver's license, make you go on welfare or Medicaid or whatever, and then they can take your benefits and kidnap you and hold you hostage. That is their plan. Now, that is information that comes into the people investigating you because you're in a lot of trouble, and you're too fucktard to recognize that, despite the fact that we quote you every day. I wasn't supposed to know about all this. There's an affidavit you want to make me sign recanting my court testimony. I won't sign it. I will sign it. Fuck you. I will not lie for you. I will not lie for you. You're trying to force me into it. Who do you think you are? You're trying to poison me into it. You're trying to put me in the hospital, make me do this, or put me in jail and make me do this. You have caused me extreme, prolonged duress to force me to do things or say things I will not do and I will not say. And what happens when you do that? What is actually happening? Not your daydream, not your make-believe. I get information about your crime no one else has. No other victim has all this stuff beforehand. I have it. You act like I don't. Okay, you're mentally ill. And you're mentally retarded. And that is not going to be something that bothers me. Do you understand? That is your problem. You don't bother me with that. You don't bother me with that. So, I told you no, and my answer is no. I will not lie for you. And forcing me to do something I do not want to do is just another crime. But you know, there's so many. What's one more, right? It gets us more intel every time you do something to me or my children, doesn't it? Do your investors like that? Does Tony like that? Does Gerard like that? Does Betancourt like that? Because their money that they're paying for your cover-up is getting us information that is true information. Or it comes into us. And sometimes the whole thing is true. Sometimes part of it's true. Sometimes it's completely false. Sometimes it's all true. I mean, we have to check into it. When we get information in, we have to do some checking, fact checking. And when you do what we say, and we said it beforehand, and then you do exactly what we said, this is the information that we got. And then they did exactly that. They caused that harm and that injury and that loss to me, and it might be a home. And it was verbatim, they did exactly what we were told they would do. Then you confirmed my intel. Now it goes to the prosecutor as evidence. They will use it in a criminal case against you. Why get the intel if it isn't going to be used to put you in jail so you can't bother anybody again with your mental problems, you psycho, and your pervert problems? Why else get it? Lots of blood, sweat, and tears and sacrifices have been made to get that information. It's our information. We decide. It's taken before judges who set boundaries. They decide. Keith doesn't decide. George doesn't decide. I don't know who it is that runs around going, I don't know how she can just do that. She? How do you know what am I doing? What specifically am I doing that you feel is inappropriate sir, and nobody ever says anything. How can she just do this and nobody ever says anything? How can I do what specifically? And what is it you think somebody is supposed to say to me, sir? Clarify that for the record for whichever judge you go whine in front of, pretending you think you're the victim. Okay, I've moved twice to get away from Charles and have no further contact with the bitch and no conflict with the bitch. He goes where I am. He is to produce a schedule of the past 10 years. Where have you been? What have you been doing? And who have you been doing it with? And why are you doing it? What are you hiding and why are you hiding it? Produce a fucking schedule. Or shut up. Why were you in Pensacola the night Lucky Miller was murdered? What in the world were you doing there on that night? How many times, Charles Perry, have you been to Pensacola? Why were you there? What were you doing? Anything you say and do can and will be used against you in a court of law, just so you know, okay? You go into court and you say something, you better have proof. Now, because my guys have proof. CCTV, cell phone dumps, financial records. There's a lot of ways to prove where you are on any given night. Okay? You cannot anymore just make crap up and hope everybody goes for it. That's done. That's been done. We told you in 2016, that's over. Not this time. Not this time. If you want to bullshit yourself, fine. Bullshit yourself. And then when my boss comes and handcuffs you, I think you're going to have to unbullshit yourself, won't you? What are you going to do, huh? Oh, this isn't happening. Okay, whatever. So I have all these emails here. You are so full of shit. Okay, all of these emails here. There's all these emails here, okay, in text between Mr. Perry and myself there. You can tell I was helping with his campaign. Also, these here were dated December 2nd, 2011. My client had just made a comment about Chris Wynn making a comment about Charles Perry and I having an affair. I hit the roof. I don't want a scandal. I have 2 children. I don't want a scandal. Same thing I told Michael Quinn Sullivan in 2014. 4 years later? I want him to leave me alone. I'm not going to have a scandal. We're not going to do that. He has to leave me alone. I don't like the guy. He gives me the creeps. I don't do Peep and Tom. Okay, that's a turnoff all by itself. If there's nothing else, that's plenty to say, you're not my kind. I don't want you. You're gross. I don't do Peep and Tom. I don't do broke. That makes you a turnoff. You're gross. I don't do guy who ruins all things good. I don't do pathetic weak. You're not my kind. I want nothing to do with you. You piece of shit. I don't do man who tries to murder my kids and takes everything I own and puts it in a dumpster, or ruins my property, or sneaks around in my house when I'm not home, and puts poison in my food. So my guys have to tell me, well, you got to pour that out. Well, we put this sealant, that silt stuff they have to make your, your bowels jam up. So here's what you got to do to counter it. Okay? Nope. You're not my kind. I'll kill you dead if you get near me, because that makes you dangerous. The guys are like, we don't think he's going to come up to you with a gun. We think he'll come up to you with a chloroform rag and a syringe full of something deadly. So you don't let him get that close. You take his ass out. And if you can't, I will. We will. Who's we, Charles? Okay, so because you make these phone calls looking for my boss, and you're dangerous, you're not going to talk to my boss until you do what he said. Give back what you took. Pay for the damages you caused for her and her son, and you get the fuck out of her life, or you will not get the time of day from us. Okay? So whoever says Whoever says, how can she do this and get away with it? No one says anything. You don't understand the information we have. You're lacking information, and you're making statements based on partial information, and you look like a buffoon, sir. You look like a complete buffoon. If you feel like there's something inappropriate, then when these guys get arrested and they're at trial, they can deal with it then like the rest of us would. Okay? I will not be in a relationship with Charles Perry. There's no way. He's disgusting to me. He's disgusting. I don't do peeping Tom. I don't do broke. I don't do murderer. I don't do guy who ruins all things good. I would the only kind of man I would want is someone who defends my honor, not someone who goes everywhere and lies about me and has other people lie about me and slanders me and smears me. You have no chance. You never did. Do you understand? So I'm texting him all this and I'm like pissed off and I'm like, your people need to shut the fuck up. What the hell is this? I was pissed. Okay, so somebody, I guess it was in Manfred, maybe Lucky or Mike, read these texts and stated, I think it was Mr. Powell or somebody said, can we just get Frank Morrison, her client that told her about all this, to say she misunderstood something? And the guy said, you can, but that lie won't work. Just say. If you use the words just say in front of your lie, does it make it less of a lie? Okay. Can we just get Mr. Morrison to just say she misunderstood something? Can that lie work? And he said, no, I don't think it will. Here's the thing. Charles never asked Cynthia why she's pissed off. She's pissed off. She flat says, I'm pissed. He already knew. He doesn't deny spreading rumors of an affair. He denies having employees. Well, we all knew he had employees. She names them Carl and Robin Tepper. So pleased with this already. And why are you so stupid? You didn't think of that yourself. Okay, and then there's these where I'm, this is with it when I said, this is enough, you stop, and I'm done with you. And you're stuck, you have no control. You know what my question was? Will the IRS accept my deductions? Yes or no? You're a seasoned accountant. Answer the question, yes or no. Instead, he goes off on this crazy shit that has nothing to do with my question, and puts these threats in. You're stuck, you have no control, you lose. You know what? The IRS did accept my deductions. The answer was yes. I lose what? Okay, you are threatening me in these texts. You just tried to slip it in there, so it might be hard to prove that that was a threat. But I can do that. I've done it already in a probable cause hearing, Mr. Perry, in your criminal case. So you're not getting away with what you think you're getting away with. How can I do what and nobody says anything? See, you have no idea what the other courts have heard and what the other courts are ordering, because it's my case, it's our case. We decide. We set the boundaries, not you, not anybody else, no one else. Okay, we're quoting your judges. You're not quoting our judges, sir. And you act very confused, like you think it's the other way around. You think peeping is a romantic thing. You think stealing women's money is romantic, and you need a trophy for that. I made you broke. Call me. I'm going to have you pulled over and arrested. Call me. Ask to talk to me. Oh, my God. What? They need to put you in a padded cell. You're that nut job. You embarrassed the hell out of me with that. You are so gross. You couldn't pay me enough. Millions of dollars would not make me want to walk in a room with you. Get that through your head. Because I've said it for years. Everything I've said and done has been to get you off my back and out of my life. And to protect life, because you're dangerous. You're sick, you're psychotic, and you embarrass yourself and everybody else with the nut job stuff you say. You're shameful to me. You're shameful to me. I don't care what you think. That's why I didn't ask you. I told you to shut up and go away and don't contact me again. Okay, can you not understand what people say? Are you that stupid? That you can no longer understand words people say to you? That you that fucked hard? Yep. That's embarrassing. Why aren't you embarrassed? Please be embarrassed. Please be embarrassed. And shut up. Just shut up. Okay, so this conversation here, Mr. Perry, was regarding I guess there's two things our prosecutor tells me. Here's what's going on in their court hearings, Sin. Because there's so much perjury, we have an open court order for whatever it is he's trying to do in court. And if it's a perjury, we're going to charge him. If he's suborning perjury, we're going to charge him for that. As we've made it very clear, these cases, the civil cases in Judge Eagan's court, and Judge Payne's court, and Sam Cummings' court, whom you went duck hunting with. We didn't say you went deer hunting. We didn't say you went rabbit hunting. Duck hunting specifically with Sam Cummings during the civil proceedings in my lawsuit against you. And that is illegal. That is ex parte shit, sir. Okay, all of that is going to be used for your criminal case. And I've detailed out how we plan to do that. And you act like you don't understand me. How embarrassing. How embarrassing. So this person, our prosecutor, is like, okay, Trey McClendon's making him produce a schedule because you're accusing him of stalking you. So he's where you are. Why? There's absolutely no reason for him to be where you are or talking to your family or running your family off and making them turn against you so that you have not communicated with them now since 2021. Okay, why is he talking to your family in the first place, especially your kids? Do you go talk to his kids and his family behind his back? Oh, hell no. We don't behave like that. That's not what we do. Why is he doing it? Okay, so he wants a schedule. The other thing he wants, I guess, was hang on, let me see what he wanted. Oh, okay, on the false arrest, if it's not you put nothing on the docket in 3 lawsuits, 3 of them. You put arrest papers on the docket, which is not a fact in dispute. That's why she sued you. The facts in dispute are that there was a false police report filed. I had to file a false police report to get a protective order. You threaten me with death and false arrest every day still. When you're being threatened with death and false arrest, you need a protective order against the individual who is making those kind of threats. Those are specific threats. I'm going to murder you. I'm going to false arrest you. I'm going to go into court and commit perjury. In Oklahoma, you have to file a police report to get a stalking protective order, and you knew that because my first one in May 2015 was denied in part because I forgot the police report. I had the case number and the officer's name, but I forgot to bring the actual report. It's Marler versus Clower. I'm in Oklahoma courts, not Texas. You have me charged in Texas for doing something you knew I had to do by law with no evidence of any kind of political vendetta because you're a whack job and you embarrass me. So, when you go into court, you have to state the facts and you better have evidence. Also, taking a whole the guy's like, my prosecutor's like, they go around and take pictures of you everywhere you go, and they've done it for years. Like when he pulls up in the backyard and he's watching you in the alley, watching you in your backyard, taking pictures of you. And then he runs into Judy and says, here's proof we are not stalking her. We have pictures all over the place. Here, see? Here, see her? Here's where she is. And how would he know where you are at any given time to take pictures of you if he's not stalking? And Judy goes, oh, yes, of course I can see how that's not stalking. And we don't know what planet she lives on. Okay, why would anybody think that's not stalking? That is stalking. And you have no right to do any such thing. None of you do. And your little FaceTime, Marvin, Marvin says, oh, just have the guy pretend like he's on FaceTime with someone and take a picture of her. Okay, we're on to that. We've been on to that from when I worked at Sensations, sir. Did you go into my work at Sensations to talk to me? Why are you going where I am? Because I don't know you from Adam. So how would you know where I work and what time I work? When? What day? How would you know that if you're not stalking, Marvin? Charles, David. Okay, one of my coworkers flat out said it as loud as you could say it. She's doing the FaceTime thing, acting like, and then another one pretends like she's fixing her hair in her phone, like using it like a mirror, and it's the camera, and she's videoing me. Walks over and says, David Robertson wanted this video of Cynthia, so we're sending it to him. Loud as she could say it. Okay, you got leaks like that. Either it's just some stupid running their mouth, or there's an official informant or an infiltrator. Maybe Marvin's an infiltrator. You know? I'm not told that. I don't know. Okay, so what the guy is saying, what my prosecutor is saying is that Trey McClendon is the only one that's bringing this stuff up. Okay, Judy didn't and Judge Eagan didn't. You never put anything on the docket to prove that there was a false police report filed and that it was linked to a political vendetta. All you filed was arrest papers, which is not a fact in dispute. We're not disputing the fact that she was arrested. She sued you for that. The facts in dispute are that there was a false police report filed and it was linked to political vendetta, and you still haven't proved that. So why not? Why did you not put anything on the docket then to show that there is a political vendetta and a false police report? You obstructed justice. I hadn't even talked to the cops yet. They left a message for me while I was in jail. We need you to come and give us the text you're referring to in your police report. So you go into Mr. McClendon, Judge McClendon, and you show him that message because it's everywhere, including on here. So show him the message from Detective Liz Eagan of TPD, who called on February 15th and left a voicemail. I've already put that out again and again and again and again and again. I will not do it again. You have it. Give it to him. Because I was already in jail when she called and asked for the text, which would have indicated I needed a blood test to confirm or rule out arsenic poisoning, which is why you obstructed justice and then you destroyed my blood by making me sit in jail for 2 months, illegally detained, and no one tested me, and it worked its way out of my system. Had I gone in to talk to her and had you not poisoned me, you guys are big on the poisons. Had you not poisoned me, you would have made sure there was a test so you could do your little sob story drama queen song and dance before the media. Look, she claims we poisoned her. We tested her. There's nothing in her blood. See, she lied. Ooh, poor me. Everybody feels sorry for me. But you knew it would come out positive, so you, by physical force, prevented and delayed the reporting of your crime to local police where the crime occurred that I was reporting, not Texas. Not Texas. Bitch. And then you hauled me to Texas and held me hostage while that worked its way out of my system so that there was no blood test, because you knew if there was a blood test, it would show arsenic poisoning. Right? Yes or no? Okay, you want to get me on this, you want to get yourself on the stand and let me go at you, sir, cross-examining you or whatever. You're not going to like what happens when I do that. And you know that. That's why you never let me in court. You cannot play Candyland against yourself with no opponent and they're running around telling everybody, I win! And surely you understand that people do not take you seriously. You're a coward. Because a real man would have faced me in court. A real man would have not have done that to me anyway. Okay, and that is why it will never be you that I want. You're a job for me, and you know that. So your little make-believe political vendetta and your little make-believe romance are ridiculous and absurd. And you know that too. So, what's Jackie know about your little make-believe world that you live in? And your little pretend love life that you have? Sitting there watching women in the privacy of their homes, pretending that's some sort of date. It is rape. I decide what I see that, what that is that you're doing to me. It is rape. You are a rapist. I don't date rapists. Okay, so the prosecutor's like, Trey McClendon's asking for things these other two women should have asked for long ago, and they didn't. He's thinking circles around them. How embarrassing for those two. Okay, the other thing is, there's testimony from people that didn't see anything. They don't know shit about it. So one of those things would have been the McNamara email. Charles said, here's what he wants to do. Now, whether or not he talked to Judge McNamara about it, I don't know. I don't care. Maybe they didn't tell me that, and I don't care. What I know is that's what he talked about. Using Judge McNamara to ruin my son's life. He just went out in a different way, tried to murder him. And he's keeping me from protecting my son from him and helping him get better because he has something to hide. He did exactly what we said he did. What are you hiding, and why are you hiding it? And that, by the way, is an act showing consciousness of guilt, and it is admissible under federal Rules of Evidence 404B2 or something like that. It's like 404. So you acted guilty. You try to cover something up in both the false arrest and this thing now with my kid, and they got it in our case. They got it in our case. How can she do that and just get away with it and nobody says anything? Wow, when you have all the facts, then you can make a judgment call. Maybe. Otherwise, you're just looking stupid because you don't have all the facts and you don't know things that you should know, that we know. You don't have that kind of information. You're not in the need to know. You're excluded for a reason. You're excluded for a reason. If you're not in the need to know, nobody is going to tell you shit. Because you take it right to Charles, who's dangerous. Where's my son right now, after I moved twice to get my son away from him? So, and he's keeping me from helping my son get well. He's gotten worse in the care and custody of the people trying to kill him. Right? Practicing medicine. How many people are my guys going to charge, this prosecutor, how many people is going to charge for malpractice, which he's going to consider attempted murder and aggravated assault? Because these doctors are doing what you told them to do, not what they know they should do. And you're practicing medicine without a license. So, Mr. Perry, every contact gets me more information just like this, and you never shut up. Okay, my son is my child, and I'm perfectly able to explain when I had my medical business and a nurse working for me, here's what the nurse said you should do. And it's not your business, Connie. Is it? You don't need to know a thing about it, do you? Do you? You like threatening me, but you never do it to my face. You always got to hide behind something. You're so tough when you can hide. Don't butt into my business again, because it will cost you everything you have. You have my word, I promise. So, this right here, Mr. Perry, the conversations were, if you get McNamara on the stand and have her deny there was anything, okay, great. But McNamara was not a witness to that conversation that is cited in the McNamara email. Have Broken Arrow pull her over, Calvin. Then Broken Arrow testifies to something they weren't a witness to. They don't have any personal knowledge about it. Because we didn't say you called Broken Arrow and they said, sure, we'll pull over. We said you told Calvin to call them. Well, Broken Arrow didn't see that. They weren't there. They didn't witness it. They weren't a party to it. So you got Broken Arrow, again, making a testimony about something they don't know shit about. They didn't hear you tell Calvin to have them pull me over, did they? They never did pull me over, by the way. Why did they not pull me over if Calvin actually called them and said, pull her over? Okay, so all we said is you told Calvin to have him pull me over. I've never met Calvin, by the way. I don't know who the hell that guy is. I don't like him. I've heard him say things in police recordings that were horrible. Absolutely horrible. Inhumane. Absolutely inhumane. So, this thing was opened on a human rights violation complaint, Charles. And here's the thing. When you get complaints, you hope to investigate and discover those complaints are dead wrong. There's no truth to that at all. But you know what? You have proven beyond any reasonable doubt in an overwhelming manner that you are the most inhumane monster on the planet. And there's no way I would want anybody like you. It will never be you I want. You're a job. And you need to get that straight and stop acting like a fool. Stop acting like a fool. You're a job. I'm good at what I do. You sit and watch me work all day on your case. Don't you? You're not working. Fat slob. You're lazy, aren't you? Yeah. I already know what I did all day. That's the other thing. I would only date somebody that works hard all day doing good things. You know, a lot of men, Charles, have good jobs. And they go work and they make money legit. And they have something interesting at the end of the day to talk about. And you don't. You don't. I already know what I did all day. You watched me work on your case. That's all you do. So, nobody will give you a name. Nobody will give you a name. You're not getting to the decision makers. You don't want them. You don't want to talk to the decision makers, do you? That would make it real. Then you would have to admit, yeah, I am being investigated, and here's who's investigating me. I talked to them. They told me to fuck off. Comply with the law. Fuck off. Leave her alone. Right? We told you to give back what you took, fix the problems you caused, and get the fuck out of my life, or we'll get more and we'll do it ourselves. We don't need you to get the information. Why would we need you for that? And if we have to do it for you, you're not going to like how we do it, and it will cost you at least double. Okay? I'm asking for damages, not a cover-up. This isn't blackmail. We're not saying give me money and I'll cover it up. I'm saying you caused damages for me and my son. You pay for the damages. Get the fuck out of my life. Or I'll get it another way. And it'll cost you at least double. And that's all there is to it. It's not up to you. It's not to anybody but me and the guys helping me. And that's it. And that's all. Okay? You don't get to make those decisions. In fact, there was one of those congressmen I was telling you about that wants to do a congressional hearing, or I guess they were talking to him about it. He said, I'm looking at everything you have here, and when you guys told them her privacy is not to be invaded anymore, you don't contact her or her family. She'd better not be broke and have problems and lost because of you. Period. Comply with the law and fuck off. I'm looking at all this, and I'm going, I don't see how they think they had a choice. With all this evidence that you guys have and all this information that you guys... What? No intelligent person could look at this and think they have a choice. They're not intelligent, are they? Nope. And so we got more all day. We do every day. Who's Michael Pena? We get more every day. Because you thought you had a choice. We have 134, 135 names of your people. People I've never met. All your code words that you use because you label your crimes. Details about your compounds that we got after that March 2020 order from a cop. Leave her the fuck alone. Leave her alone. Leave her and her family alone. Weirdo. Leave them alone. Leave them alone. No. Okay, look. 420 pages of never-ending scrolling on the blog. Now I'm going to hit on this thing with my dad real quick, and then I'm done. We're done talking to you. Okay, you can't understand a word we say. Never do you respond appropriately. Ever. You never have. I guess you never will. And you're not going to talk to my boss. When he handcuffs you, he'll see you then. I sure shit I'm not going to help you. I will not help you. Okay? So your delusion, you know, when I say here's how it is, here's the deal, and then you go around acting like you think there's some other reality, you know, you have no idea how much that gets us, because it's embarrassing to people that you behave that way. We live in a civilized society where we don't behave that way. We can get names, we don't behave like you. So, okay, the thing with my dad is, everyone thinks Lynn died of natural causes. Several weeks, okay, we knew he had a pulmonary embolism, and then several weeks later, then he died. Between the time that he had a pulmonary embolism and he died, he was somewhat veggie brain. He was having some problems with cognitive whatever, okay, which a pulmonary embolism is similar to a stroke, so it would make sense that he might have some brain damage because of that. That's all I knew. Okay, that's all we all knew. We didn't know anything else. But about 2-3 weeks after that, after Lynn's been cremated, they've said, they recorded David, I guess, and talking to somebody, and he said, the guy said, I thought Lynn died of natural causes, and David said, no. I think David was making a threat. This is what I do to people I think are leaking. We thought Lynn was a leak. So we murdered him. The guy said, I thought he died of natural causes. And the response was no. You can put air in the oxygen line, and Lynn was on oxygen, and it will cause a pulmonary embolism, and it didn't kill him, so I hit him with sucks. Okay, once somebody has been cremated, the chances of testing the ashes or bone matter and finding sucks, I guess you can't do it. We've looked into it. I told my sister, if this is something you wish to pursue, contact the FBI lab and see if there's a way they can do it. From what I'm finding, there's not. All I have to go on is this conversation that we heard. Everyone thought it was natural causes until they said it wasn't. I can only testify to, I heard a police recording of them discussing my father's death, and here's what they said. The truth of the matter, I cannot confirm or deny. Can I? What I can ask my sister to confirm or deny, who was with Lynn when he had a pulmonary embolism or just before? Who was with him just before he died? Was it David and Jacob both times or one time? Who was with him when that happened? When these two events that cost him his life, who was there? Because if they cause a pulmonary embolism, they would have to be there to put the air in the oxygen line and cause that just before. I don't know how long it takes. How long before the pulmonary embolism were they there? Who was there? When were they there? And then on the day he died, who was there? How long after they left did he die on both? I mean, these are a lot of questions to ask. I don't know. I didn't see it. I wasn't there. So it would have to be my sister and my mother that would testify to what they saw. The only thing I can testify to is the recording I heard. So, the recording that police investigating Charles Perry for human trafficking and jillion crimes that go along with human trafficking, coercion, interfering with commerce and contracts with intent to coerce is a big problem for him. And I mean a big problem. And because he can't understand a fucking thing people say anymore, because he's demented now, I mean, he's got senile, whatever, and never reacts like he understood a word you said. What does it mean that we have this, Charles? You have no idea, do you? You can tell none of you know what it means that we have this information. Not a clue. It's not my problem. I am not a special education teacher. I don't pull out finger paints and start trying to help people understand words that everybody else gets it first time you say it, just like that. Okay? So, whoever testifies to things they haven't seen, because Charles gave them a script and said, here, read this on the stand, and it was something they have no personal knowledge of, Shelley cannot testify to the police recording I heard. Nor can my mother. They can testify to what they saw happen to Lynn right before the pulmonary embolism, who was with him, how long after they left did this pulmonary embolism happen, and same thing with when he died, and so forth, what they saw. Broken Arrow can't testify that that we heard Charles tell Calvin to have them pull me over. They weren't there. They were being talked about, not to. So, Mr. Perry, get it right, man, because you look like a complete buffoon, and you seem not to get that. You seem just never to understand how you look to the rest of the world. Okay? And the insulting. People are tired of you insulting their intelligence. People are sick and tired of you insulting their intelligence with your stupid. So you're not going to get a name. I do. Who's Michael Pena? I get the help, not you. It's our information. We decide. You don't. None of the offenders get to decide what investigators do with information about the offense. And fuck you that you would stick your nose in where it doesn't belong, yet again. So it'll cost you intel all weekend, okay? And that's all there is to it.